recreational adaptive sport communities so we could become a part of it. A timeline down here shows the locations of the summer in orange and winter in blue Paralympic Games, the summer census beginning in 1960 in Rome, and the Winter Games since their beginning in 1976. We envision the future of SOE providing infrastructure for everything from basic rehabilitation to hosting adaptive sport world championships. Infrastructure to inspire new ways of understanding and enriching the lives of wounded veterans. Thank you.
Where's the water course that talks to the plan there and explain what we're looking at?
So this is an excavated water course. It's constructed primarily for programmatic elements. It could connect seasonally to a water body down here that we decided could expand and contract over the season. This could be just a grassland during its driest, or it could be a fuller water body maybe during the early spring.
But what is the water course made out of?
So it would be a cement wall basin and very constructed. It would be 3 meters deep, which is about all we need for actual recreation. Basically, it's long enough to allow you to sort of train for these type of sports like rowing or kayaking. It's not something that events or anything. And then,
could you say a little bit more about the quality of the water, where it comes from, and how it's handled or treated?
Sure. Well, as we know, the water table is pretty high, and especially in this existing conditions map, it's very close to the surface. We also have quite a bit of water drainage in this direction. You can see that over here, and that's surface water runoff that we try to catch before it hits the stream here and overflows downriver. We have floating wetlands all along this edge because of the contamination on site to try to remediate that within a 6-month period. And our hope is that as the contamination is removed, we have a cleaner and cleaner water source.
But I mean, that water doesn't need to have chlorine and things like that? Or if people are going to be training, swimming?
The quality of the water on site right now, it's not like a swimming pool where you sort of dive in and use it at the moment. Surface-based water activities that are proven to be safe enough, so like rowing and stuff like that, is totally fine.
It's synonymous to the Charles River, right? Yeah. It's dirty, but it's
Exactly.
You don't want to go in.
So they're not going to swim.
Outdoor swimming agency with the goal for 2020 is
the thematic, I mean, the twin thematics of redemption through remediation and redemption through healing, it's powerful. No, I mean, I just want to say that I think there's something to that, and I also appreciate the way that you didn't overplay it. There's a version of your project where you were some of this kind of cloying and kind of teary-eyed, and I think it's actually quite direct. And so, toward that end, could you say something more about the economics side? I mean, the program seems plausible. I like its hook and specificity, the networks you're embedded in. Where does the money come from? How does this thing help to fund this?
We studied that quite a bit, and we left it out of our presentation because we pretty much thought there'd be questions. And so we had it's
a lot
to explain. And it's a part of the project. So the site aims to be a 50-50 balance in its end, sort of in 2050, between public and private funding. We definitely envision the site in the beginning being publicly funded. We've done a lot of research for government grants. There's nothing like the way there is for VA hospitals, but there's a lot of funding out there for research into forms of rehabilitation for wounded veterans. And there's also quite a bit of money out there for anything that involves like sports equipment. And so from what we've gathered, we could initially sort of jumpstart the site and have a minimal infrastructure using this money. And as we've shown in 2050, and probably before that, we've considered the local community, and we've researched the ways in which a site like this can rent out their facilities to like high school teams, especially in these communities that don't have their own facilities, and start to hold like small events and ramp that up, so that in the end, that's our take over.
And in terms of events too, and sort of what you have, especially now around a lot of this, so like all these, for example, are from I think 5 time photographs. I'm forgetting which one, but there's a lot of media attention which means that the possibility for sponsorships is also tremendous. And we've actually put on the pavement in the 2050 rendering, these are actual sponsors right now for from the Wounded Warrior project. Other big ones such as like Audi and Bank of America are already participating in Disabled Sports USA in the 50 or so chapters.
So a really commercial outlet towards the future, I'd say.
May I ask, for the building program, you reuse the existing structures for rehabilitation, hospitals? How does it work?
Bill, why don't you talk about that?
Yes, we have been analyzing which one of the existing buildings reservoirs not to be contaminated, and we are keeping them. They are highlighted in white here in the map, but all the other buildings are actually contaminated. So we are planning to demolish them as the first phase in our phasing development, and use the contaminated footprint as a way to organize the space on this housing space. And we are planting the remediation communities. And so we are reusing the footprint and the logical organization of the military base, but we are not keeping all the buildings.
Just give me an impression. I mean, of the existing volume, do you have to add volume? Because you take it enough. Is it enough? Is it much too much?
Yes, we are keeping at the moment the buildings that are on site, and we are keeping are enough for the first phases, and just in case of success of the strategy, we are planning to add.
Yeah.
So I have to think of it as a recreation hospital, or do I have to think of it as a growing city? Or
So this is a really good point. So let's actually go over here. I don't know if you can see it from back there. These are the footprints of two sort of prominent existing facilities that we looked at. Not precedents for what we want to do, but one is in Ashland, Ohio. It's called Recreation Unlimited. And it has all kinds of outdoor activities, but it's a very small-scale landscape. You can see the scale here. That's 500 meters. So, for example, that's about the length of our water course alone. The other, probably the best one, and the only Paralympic training center, to my knowledge, in the United States, is the Lakeshore Foundation in Birmingham, Alabama. Even smaller, indoor facilities, literally no landscape, unless you count tennis courts. And everything, and these buildings here, I think those are the courts. That's a hotel that does some of the housing. So all their rehab and adaptive sport takes place within this one building. And that makes sense, because when you build a site like this, one of the original ideas we had was to kind of spread facilities throughout the entire site to reach the larger community. That's great if you have a bicycle and car and you can walk for a long distance. But if you literally can't, it's really not so good. And you want everything kind of clustered within this kind of locus. There's tons of paving already on the site, so if we need more than just literally a couple buildings and a couple units for temporary athlete housing, we definitely can build.
But I still wonder, and this means, to a long answer to the short question, that you have much too much building on the side. That means you can still do something with that existing volume of different housing infrastructure, hallways, hangars, and all this. So I wonder if it is right to say we do something like just a recreation center, or we do it becomes like a core of something that becomes a core village or city in this region.
Well, I'll show you one thing we studied, over 100 VA hospitals, over 50 VA hospitals, 100-mile radius. So we don't envision this site doing everything, but especially in the greater Boston area and south of it, there's several VA hospitals, so this could be a component of that system. So there's the physical therapy and all those programs in the hospitals, and there's a satellite site for these types of activities that you want to do out there.
Maybe I should reformulate it. You're creating a ghetto. That's what I'm trying to get at. That it is something that is remote, and I think the remoteness. That's what I'm questioning. Is it the remoteness? Is the solution to have this veteran side something that is excluded from the other villages, or is it something that might even benefit if there will be other people here, also housing or whatever?
Yes,
you know where I'm getting?
Yes, I get it.
Our first idea was about permeability, concerning the boundary